So here's the thing about the 8th episode of American Horror Story Apocalypse Sojourn. I guess because it was falling on Halloween, I had a lot of expectations. I think also because of the last 7 episodes, I had a lot of expectations too. With that said, yeah, this was a bit of a letdown, is probably the best way to put it. I'm going to jump right into it because I think you're going to understand what I'm getting at when I get to my main points. But yeah, first, for director, I'm going to make sure I get these right. Director Bradley Bucher, who also directed episode 1, and for writer Josh Green. Now, I'm not placing blame. Again, to writer Josh Green, I just want to jump right into some of the things I had issue with. First, let me start with a compliment. Cody Fern as Michael Langdon saves this episode. There's no other way for me to put it. When you have the ability to take a character who's the Antichrist and have moments as a viewer where you forget who he is and essentially he's going to bring about the apocalypse, and you feel for him in certain moments, I think that speaks volumes for his performance this season. Just in the beginning with Cordelia, when he goes from just anguish to rage to hate, there were so many great transitions in this episode that, again, I think Fern really did a great job in taking a lot of the mediocre and making it something that was palatable and watchable to get us to at least the last 2 episodes. What I didn't like about the episode, I don't think I needed an hour to confirm that Michael Langdon was going to have daddy issues, obviously Satan, and that he is constant looking for an older mother figure. I mean, from the fact that his mother tried to kill him, and then with Constance, and then with Mead, and then with this woman at the Church of Satan, and then with Sandra Bernhard, we get it. I think that's probably the best way for me to put it. I felt like there was just this need to hammer home a point that we've pretty much been getting since the first episode. So, I thought there was a lot of retreading of issues there. The Mead as robot, I don't know, maybe a lot of us got caught up in the excitement of Coven and Murder House and the setup and everything else. We didn't realize in the beginning of the season we were going to have to go back and visit that whole Mead's a cyborg robot type thing. Now we're having to revisit it, and it just seems a little weird and painful and rushed, and honestly, I don't think it was deserving of as much attention for an episode as it got. Maybe it will in the remaining 2 that we have coming up, I don't know. But it really felt like I would have been happier if you just kept it kind of vague, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, just kind of wrote it off very quickly. But I don't know, it just felt like it just was so painfully forced. And that ties into my next thing, which is that whole storyline that involved Sarah Paulson's Venable and then Billy Eichner and Evan Peters with the worst Dumb and Dumber haircuts I've ever seen. That, again, I thought was a serious waste of talent. Venable, it came across almost as a caricature of Venable, and Peters and Billy Eichner, it looked like they just had a great time chewing up the scenery. But again, it was just like, oh, okay, you're tech boys, and this is how you act, and everything like that. And again, it's not that I don't believe it; it's just the opposite. It just everything seemed too nice, too convenient, and yeah, across the board, I just wasn't too impressed. And the last thing is that the reason why this bothered me the most is that I always have this thing, and for those of you who saw my reviews last season, you'll know this. I always have concern about Murphy-itis. And what Murphy-itis is that he sets up so many great things that as it gets towards the end of the season, he finds himself having to kind of cover a lot of bases. Season 1, I always bring that up at the end when Jessica Lange had to just really cover so much territory with her season finale monologue. It just, when I see an episode like this, it has me concerned that Apocalypse may be going that route, especially with 2 episodes left. So, again, not that there weren't some interesting points and some highlights. I love the whole idea about Cordelia taking Mead's soul and locking that away somewhere that even Michael Langdon can't find. Now, whether that turns out to be true or not, we'll see. But I thought that was a nice touch. Great Fanta and the Church of Satan. I don't know who has greater claim to have issue with how they're represented in this episode, but I'm going to give the lean towards the Church of Satan because they've been taking double hits from The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina and now this. So I'm expecting them to start going on a major public relations campaign pretty soon. Sandra Bernhard, fantastic. I thought was just great. It was nice seeing her back. I loved her example of how she's been doing ultimate evil in the world. I thought that was great. I do say, though, you know what? I'll touch about it in a second. I also like the name dropping. Rihanna. We know Elon Musk and the accusations against Elon Musk and Brad Pitt, but I think special attention needs to be given to Ryan Reynolds because at least now we know what he does on his Fridays. That was a nice touch, and I'm curious how many wink, wink, nudge, nudges Ryan Murphy was throwing at people with that one. But now let me go back to the Sandra Bernhard thing. I love the Sandra Bernhard. And I love the way Cody Fern represented just in Michael Langdon's expression, like, this is the church I'm inheriting. Like, this is what they consider to be evil. With that said, I was expecting the Church of Satan to be more evil as it rolled along. And it really just came across, and I don't know if this is what was meant. Maybe as this goes along, we'll see. But it really just, it kind of left me cold. And especially on a Halloween night where I was expecting, oh, we're going to be getting into the Church of Satan, and it's Halloween, and it's going to concentrate on the Antichrist. I never thought I would use the phrases Antichrist and boring in the same sentence. But this episode, instead of being hellfire hot, left me very, very cold.